Chapter 9. Effect of not following Baba's instructions at the time of taking leave. Tatya Kote Patil. Once Tatya was going to Kopargaon market in a tanga. Before leaving, he hastily came to inform the same to Baba. However, Baba warned him not to leave the village and suggested he take Shyama with him, in case he could not avoid the travel. Not paying attention to the directions, Tatya proceeded all alone. After passing the Savul well, outskirts of Shirdi, one of the horses of the Tonga began running rashly. It suddenly sprained its leg and fell down, throwing the Tonga out of control. Though Tatya was not hurt much, he immediately recollected Baba's warning. On another occasion, when proceeding to Kolhar, he met with a similar accident, having disregarded Baba's instructions. European gentleman. A European gentleman came from Bombay to see Sai. He wished to kneel before Baba and kiss his hand. However, Baba prevented him from doing so and instructed him to sit in the open courtyard below and have his darshan from there. Though comfortably accommodated, the European was displeased with the reception he got from Baba and wanted to leave Shirdi immediately. Baba directed him to go the next day, but he chose not to heed these instructions and left. The horses ran well at first, but after crossing the outskirts, on seeing a bicycle, they became frightened and started running very fast. Consequently, the Tonga turned topsy-turvy and dragged the gentleman along some distance. He was later rescued and admitted into the Kopargaon hospital for treatment. Such experiences were common, and people started realizing the need to obey Baba's advice. The need for mendicancy, bhiksha. Shastras specify that persons who get rid of the three main desires, namely progeny, wealth, and fame, and accept sannyas, are eligible to live by charity. As they cannot make cooking arrangements, the duty of feeding them falls on the shoulders of the householders. Sai Baba was a sannyasi since boyhood. The universe was his home, and he was the Lord Vasudeva himself. Hence, he had the right to seek alms. From the perspective of the Panchasuna, or the five sins, and their atonement, it is recognized that for preparing foodstuffs, householders have to carry out the process of pounding, grinding, washing, sweeping, cleaning, and lighting hearths. These processes involve involuntary destruction of small insects and creatures, submitting the householders to a certain amount of sin. To atone for this sin, Shastras prescribe different kinds of yajnas like Brahma Yajna, Veda Adhyayan, Pitri Yajna, Deva Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, and Manushya Athithi Yajna. Baba, by going around for alms, reminded the inmates of their sacred duty of offering food to guests and rid them of their sins. Devotees' experiences. Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, "Whosoever devoutly offers to me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I accept that pious offering contentedly." In Baba's case, if a devotee wished to offer something, Baba would remind him even if he subsequently forgot to offer it. Accept it and bless the devotee. A few instances are given below. Tarkad family. Baba Sahib Tarkad, his wife, and son were staunch devotees of Sai Baba. Once, Master Tarkad and his mother planned to visit Shirdi during vacations. The son was hesitating to go as he feared that puja worship of Sai Baba at his house would not be performed properly by his father, who was a Prarthan Samajist, one who did not believe in idol worship. However, after being assured by his father that he would perform the puja without fail, the two left for Shirdi on a Friday night. As promised, Mr. Tarkat performed the puja, offered kalkan lump sugar as naivedya, and distributed the same as prasad during lunchtime for the next 3 days. On Tuesday, he performed puja and left for his work. However, in the afternoon, when he returned, he found that he had not offered naivedya in the morning. He immediately prostrated before Baba's photograph, expressed regret, and wrote a letter to his son narrating the facts and requesting him to seek Baba's pardon for his neglect. This happened at Bandra around noon on Tuesday. About the same time, during the noon aarti, Baba said to Mrs. Tarkat, "I had been to your house in Bandra to eat something but found nothing left for me to eat, so I returned unappeased." On hearing these words, her son presumed that his father had forgotten to perform the puja well at Bandra. He immediately wrote a letter to his father stating the happenings at Shirdi and implored him not to neglect puja at home. Both the letters crossed each other and were delivered the next day. Is this not astonishing? And yet, another time, Mrs. Tarkat wished to offer 3 things to Baba: bharit, roasted brinjal mixed with curd; khacharia, circular pieces of brinjal fried in ghee; and pedha, a sweet. When Mrs. Raghuveer Bhaskar Purandhar of Bandra and her family were leaving for Shirdi, Mrs. Tarkat gave her 2 brinjals, requested her to prepare the items at Shirdi and serve them to Baba. At Shirdi, when Mrs. Purandhar went to the masjid with a dish of bharit, she found Baba waiting for it. He relished the dish and distributed some to others, and then asked for kachariyas. When people came to know that Mrs. Purandhar was also entrusted the duty of serving kachariyas, they appreciated the significance of Baba's inquiry. Such was the all-encompassing knowledge of Sai Baba. In December 1915 AD, Mrs. Tarkat sent pedha sweet through one Mr. Govind Balram Mankar, who was going to Shirdi to perform the obsequies, last rites of his father. As the boy was mourning, he forgot to take the pedha to the masjid. On seeing him empty-handed, Baba repeatedly asked Govind if he had anything to offer. On receiving a reply in the negative, Baba inquired if Mrs. Tarkat had sent some pedha. Realizing his mistake, Govind ran to his lodging and returned with the pedha and offered it to Baba, which he gulped immediately with satisfaction. Once Mrs. Tarkat was about to have her lunch in her host's house at Shirdi when a dog appeared and started barking. She got up and offered the dog a piece of bread, which it ate hungrily. That afternoon, when she went to the masjid, Baba said to her, "Mother, you have fed me sumptuously. Sitting in the masjid, I shall never speak untruth. Take pity on me like this. First feed the hungry and then proceed to eat." Not understanding these words, she replied to Baba saying that as she herself was depending on others for her food, how could she have fed him? To this, Baba clarified to her that the dog she had fed before eating was one with Baba. Likewise, all other creatures are also part of Baba in different forms. Baba said, "He who seeks me in all creatures is my beloved. So abandon the sense of distinction and serve me as you did today." On hearing these words, Mrs. Tarkad was deeply moved. The Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, etc., all encourage us to perceive God in all beings. Sai Baba has demonstrated how the teachings in the Upanishads can be put into practice. Om Namo Sahinathaya. Shanti Shanti Shanti. End of chapter 9.